All right, let's get right into it. We are looking at one of modern football's most incredible and unlikely stories. And it all centers around one man, Kjetil Knutsen. He's the manager who somehow turned a small town team from north of the Arctic Circle into a genuine European force. And that quote right there, that says it all. He said this after one of the biggest upsets you'll ever see. And it just perfectly captures the spirit of what he achieved. But to really, truly get it, you have to understand the sheer scale of the mountain they had to climb. So picture this, February 24th, 2026. A team from a tiny town way up north of the Arctic Circle walks out onto the pitch at the legendary San Siro stadium. Their opponents, the giants of Italian football, Inter Milan. I mean, the difference between these two clubs is just staggering. A tiny budget against a financial powerhouse, a city of 50,000 people versus a massive metropolis. It was David versus Goliath, no question. And they didn't just win, they made history. They sent absolute shockwaves through European football and left everyone with just one question on their lips. How on earth was this even possible? Well, to find the answer, we have to go back. Because Knutsen's journey to the top was, believe me, anything but a straight line. It was a path that was pretty much defined by rejection. Just look at this. His path was not smooth at all. Twice early in his career, Knutsen was flat out dismissed from his head coaching job at lower league Norwegian clubs. And we're not talking about high-profile gigs here. These were tough, grinding jobs where just staying afloat is a success. That second firing, in particular, was just brutal. He had just delivered the club's best-ever league finish, and his own players were fighting for him to stay. But the board? They decided to go in another direction. For a lot of managers, a rejection like that would have been the end of the road. But for Knutsen, that painful rejection actually opened a door to an opportunity in the most unlikely of places. And what's really interesting is that when he got there, he wasn't brought in to be some kind of savior. He actually took a step down. Think about that. He moved all the way up north to join a struggling club as an assistant. The role was offered to him by the head coach at the time, Asmund Bjørken, who clearly saw something in Knutsen that others had completely missed. And that partnership, it turned out to be absolutely critical. Together, they got the team promoted back to the top division right away. And then, in this incredible show of faith, Bjørken moved upstairs into a sporting director role and just handed the head coaching job to Knutsen, the very same guy who had been fired just a year before. So, with the top job now his, Knutsen got to work implementing a pretty radical philosophy, a clear identity for the team that would become their calling card across Europe. He committed completely to this high-intensity 4-3-3 system. Now, for an underdog team, this is kind of a genius move. It's so flexible, and it allows a team that works hard together to create advantages all over the pitch. You overwhelm more talented teams with pure energy and smart movement, instead of just relying on individual stars. So his teams are built to do one thing: attack. They'll patiently build from the back to draw the other team forward, and that creates space for their fast wingers to get into these 2-on-1 situations. And the second they lose the ball, they press, relentlessly, to win it back immediately. The whole system is just about creating these little advantages all over the field through constant, coordinated motion. And this, right here, this is the key to his whole mindset off the field. Knutsen has said that inside the club, they rarely even talk about winning or losing. The focus is always on performance, on the process, and on getting better every single day. The results, he believes, will naturally follow if you get the performance right. This philosophy brought them success nobody could have predicted. But Knutsen's real genius, the thing that sets him apart, is how he managed to sustain it while his team was constantly being picked apart. 4. Between 2020 and 2024, Kjetil Knutsen led Bodø/Glimt to 4 league titles. That includes the very first championship in the club's entire 100-plus-year history. Just amazing. But here's the catch. Every single time they had a great season, their best players were sold off. I mean, stars were constantly being poached by bigger, richer clubs all over Europe. It was this never-ending cycle of losing his best talent. And yet, look at this. The results prove it just didn't matter. He rebuilt the team again and again and again. He'd find new, unknown players, plug them into a system, develop them, and just keep on winning. And that right there is maybe his greatest strength, proving that the philosophy is way stronger than any single player. Which brings us to today. After conquering Norway and taking down giants in Europe, the one big question left is what the future holds for the architect of this Arctic miracle. So can the nuts and code actually work at a true football giant? Well, you have two camps. The believers say his tactical genius and his ability to develop players can succeed absolutely anywhere. But then you have the doubters, and they argue his success is really specific to his situation, tied to their home stadiums, artificial turf, which is a big advantage, and the fact that he's in a small club environment without the pressure of managing superstar egos. He's signed a new contract that runs until 2029, but you have to believe the offers from bigger clubs are going to keep on coming. But regardless of what happens next, his story proves one thing for sure. Even after being fired and counted out, the right philosophy and a relentless focus on performance can quite literally change everything.